Hi guys, it's Alexi coming at you with this week's installment of Retro Gaming Goodness. Midway through March, we're looking at yet another action-packed lineup of both retro classics brought back to life and brand new titles with a more vintage feel. The variety of titles just keeps growing and we're all here for it. Whether it be a street fight, a smart dragon, or a sci-fi horror, it looks like we've got you covered this week. But before that, make sure to like and subscribe so you'll always be up to date with the latest retro news. Click that bell icon so you'll know exactly when our news goes live. Let's go! Now, if you're a fan of all the 90s PlayStation classics and just so happen to have a Commodore Amiga 1200, then we have some very good news. The tech demo for Spyro the Dragon by RST7 is looking pretty good as far as awesome blasts from the past are concerned. So far, there's been a lot of positive feedback from those who've seen the engine, and this version of Spyro looks to be huge in the Amiga scene. According to the creator, it uses a simple 3D engine that takes advantage of the 1200 stock configuration. Inspired by Dread, it uses high-res Ham6 to produce 64 colors with 2 bits per RGB, which is pretty cool. As of now, it's still a work in progress, but given how the community's been reacting, it looks like we have yet another modernized classic in the form of good old Spyro. Dungeon crawlers are timeless, and a lot of modern games, especially on mobile, take a chunk of inspiration from this classic genre. This time we're taking a look at a new title that makes good use of the good old dungeon crawler mechanic and incorporates an old retro first-person grid perspective. We're talking about the sci-fi horror of Hibernaculum. According to developer Wordwomb Studios, Hibernaculum was initially inspired by pre-1990s era science fiction novels. The idea behind the game is to revisit the dungeon crawling experience of Eye of the Beholder and Lands of Lore, while incorporating the survival horror elements of System Shock and Resident Evil. The main game features some detailed character creation that leads to players exploring the Hibernaculum with a non-linear, unique gameplay experience. You can play at your own pace through environmental storytelling and a dark, brooding atmosphere, like we all did back in the 80s and 90s. Right now, the game is being developed in C++ for PC, Mac, and Linux, with immediate plans for porting to Steam Deck, iOS, and Nintendo Switch. As for when, well, we'll keep our eyes peeled. So if you're into some classic, in-your-face horror, it's best to look out for Hibernaculum drops. Lastly, we have neither a port nor a brand new title. Consider it both a remake and an homage to a fighting game classic. C64 gamers can rejoice as Eggleton and Gianluca Alberico just dropped an alpha version of their much-awaited C54 version of SNK vs. Capcom, known as Retro Fighter. It's been a while since Retro Fighter's been in development, so it's nice the new 64 vs. fighting engine enters the early stages of testing. With new features implemented like a new UI and color selection for each player, we're even treated to some intro sequences before every battle, just the way it should be. We also have flaming hits, projectiles, special moves, and different battle arenas to choose from. The game also includes music for all the stages, improved game mechanics such as guard breakers and reversal moves, and complete character storylines from intermissions and ending animations. Now, this is definitely a classic-feeling fighting game worth looking out for, especially if you're a longtime fan. So whether you're an old-timer or an old soul in the fighting game community, then it's best to follow Retro Fighter's progress. Well, there you have it, another week of sweet retro gaming goodness. If you have suggestions for any news to cover, or if we missed anything, you know the drill. Let us know down below. As always, don't forget to like the video so YouTube's algorithm shows us some love. Again, I'm Alexi, and I'll catch you all again next time.